what I'm going to do is I invite you to go to what I call the airplane mode. What's the airplane mode? Airplane mode, when you take a plane, you don't have other distractions. So what I ask people, if you really want to get the most out of this session, I would ask you, leave Zoom open, but close the other applications, your email, your Facebook, LinkedIn. But now you're looking at me. But if you look 1 centimeter to the left, you see that at Facebook, your neighbor has baked a cake and your attention is already gone. Or you look to the right and you see that a new email popped up. So if you really want to get the most of the attention, what I would recommend you, airplane mode, focus on Zoom. I always invite people to put the camera on. You know, we are human beings. We love to see each other. We love to see some faces. So if possible, feel free to do so. Mute, I think the most of you are on mute. I have to say, when we are with smaller groups, and yeah, we could do the experiment. If you want to unmute yourself, that's fine. What's the reason behind it? A lot of us are really tired of online sessions because we had so many online sessions and a lot of them were a little bit boring, but it also has something to do with body language. You know, if we can see people, that already helps our brain to look, okay, you know, I see that Tony he's nodding, or Severin is laughing. I immediately know they're still on board. So that really helps, you know, helps me to know that people are there. The same with the voice. So if you want to unmute yourself, I love to hear noises like, laughter. You know, one of the biggest things that I've missed with all the online sessions is laughing people, because you never hear people laughing anymore. Everybody is muted. So feel free to unmute yourself, unless there is a lot of background noise. You know, that's something different, but otherwise it's totally fine. Cats, you know, a cat, a dog are allowed on your keyboard. If your cat is passing by, your dog, a child, we all wave and it's totally fine. You know, most of us are working from home, so that's really cool. And the last thing, you know, if you are sitting behind the desk, no pens required, but please stay down. Yeah, so those are a few of the elements that I already want to share. This is, by the way, what I've just done. I've used my virtual background a little bit as a trick. You know, I use it a little bit to present something. So this could be interesting if you don't want that people that the whole attention goes to a slide pack. Maybe you could work a little bit with your virtual background. You could even do a quiz. You know, what I sometimes do is that I ask people, okay, where am I at this moment? Who knows this place? You can unmute yourself.
Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur, very good. I go a little bit further.
Sydney.
Easy one.
Sydney.
Sydney, yes.
London.
No.
Oh, no. Singapore.
Singapore, very good. And in this way, you can play around a little bit. You can do all kind of interact in a different way with your audience. Now, just to let you know, this is one of the things that I've also done. No more boring online sessions. What I've done, I brought together 21 and a half methods how you can create more interaction. So all kind of elements. If you go to No More Boring Webinars, but I'll send you a link, you find more. But those are already a few tricks, you know, that you can do to create more interaction. Now, my story today, it starts with a banana. Actually, it starts with a banana peel. And imagine that the banana peel, you know, is lying on the floor. The banana peel is lying on the floor, and wait, I'm going to put this here, otherwise. You want to pick it up because maybe somebody can fall over the banana peel. So what happens, you want to grab the banana peel, but then somebody is stopping you. Oh, somebody from human resources. Excuse me, what are you doing? I'm picking up the banana peel. Yeah, but is this in your job description? You know, do you have the right skills to do this? You know what we're going to do? We send you on a training. It's a 2-week training, the banana pick training, and then you have the right skills to do this. Okay. 2 weeks later. Yes, finally. Oh, somebody from quality control. I've heard that you're going to pick a banana peel, but that's new. We haven't done that in our company, so it has to be in the system. You know, go to internet, there you can download 7 pages, fill out what's the problem, how are you going to solve it, a little business plan, and then maybe we give you a permit to solve the problem. Okay, again, 3 weeks later, finally, oh, you're stopped again. This time, the CEO of the company. Oh, I've heard that there is a big problem in our company. You know, we are going to create a multidisciplinary task force to solve this problem. We hire some consultants and then they come with a solution. And the solution is this. They put a ladder over the banana peel and it works. You know, nobody is falling over the banana peel. But probably you will agree with me, it's not the most efficient solution. You know, it will take up a lot of time. And when the world is changing, you know, more and more people are joining, the ladder becomes a bottleneck. Now, what's a ladder for me? A ladder for me is a metaphor for all the inefficient patterns, solutions, procedures, systems that we've built in our companies with a good intention, but they are not working anymore. And I think you agree, if you look at the companies that you're working with, you know, the organizations you work with, I can imagine a lot of times those organizations are a bit bigger. They have all kind of procedures and rules, and maybe even in your own organization, you know, you have to fill out a lot of documents before you can do something. Now, is that a bad thing? Sometimes, you know, sometimes it makes change a little bit more difficult because you have to do a lot of steps before you can do something. Now, today, we're not going to talk about the ladders in an organization. We're going to talk about the ladders in our own heads. You know, what are the assumptions? What are the patterns that we have in our own heads that block creativity and that block change a lot of times? And I would like to do a little exercise with you. What I'm going to do in the chat, again, I'm going to ask you 3 questions and you have to give your answer in the chat. But it is a little bit special. What I want you to do is give me a wrong answer. That's the exercise. So I don't want to have a correct answer. I want to have a wrong answer. Yeah, for every question. Yep, everybody clear? Let's give it a try. Question number 1, give me a wrong answer and type it in the chat. For this question, what's the capital of Belgium? What's the capital of Belgium? I want to have a wrong answer. So I see Dublin, I see Antwerp. What else? I want some wrong answers. I see New York, I see London, Paris. Yes, other ones. No, it has to be Shanghai or Chicago. All right. And I think, you know, if you still have an answer, you can type it in here. But most of you, you know, all of you are wrong. Yes, Amsterdam, Beijing. The correct answer was Brussels. But we go to question number 2. Again, a wrong answer. With how many people are we in this session? How many people are following this session at this moment? Can you type in your answer? I see 2, I see 88, I see 10,000, 100 people. No, it should be 1,000 people. All right. 50. What's this? 11,111. Yeah, I hope for the next sessions, you know, that would be cool for INCON to have 11,000 people in the meeting for all of us, I guess. Okay, perfect. We go to the last round. give again a wrong answer to the question. What's the favorite color of Cyriel? What's my favorite color? And again, the wrong answer, please. Okay, Tony thinks it's blue. Angela says, no, it should be black. What's my, I see orange, yellow is coming by, red, all right. Okay, Yuna is very creative. It should be rainbow colors, silver, all right. Very good. Let me explain what's probably happening in your brain. I asked the question, what's the favorite, no, the first question, what's the capital of Belgium? What happens? Maybe some of you, you knew that it was in Europe, maybe it was Brussels. So what happens? I have to give a different answer that's not Brussels. So most of us, they give a different capital, a different town, a different city. That's what most of you have done for question number 1, which is very good because you knew the right answer. Question number 2, with how many people are we in this room? I think you could see, we are with 29 participants if you look at the number of participants. So you gave a very high number or a very low number. Now, question number 3 is a little bit harder. Favorite color of Cyriel. Now, you don't know me. You can look on how I'm dressed, but it could be blue or red or yellow. You know, maybe my favorite color is rainbow. You know, there's a very small chance that that's my favorite color. What answer should you give to be 100% sure that you give a wrong answer to that question? And the answer is, don't give a color. Give an answer that's outside the box of the colors. You know, you could have said cat, 17, bodyguard. You could have given a word that's outside the box of the colors, then you're 100% sure that's wrong. You could have given this type of answers also for the previous questions. Now, why did I do this exercise? This is exactly how it works in our daily lives and in our professional lives. Somebody comes to you, you're all working in the domain of events. So a client is coming to you and saying, we need a physical event for 100 people, and we have between 2 and 7 in the evening. Can you organize something? What happens in your brain? Physical event between 2 and 7. And you go to the events that you already know, which is logical. You know, that's your expertise. But if you want to do something really special, maybe we have to think outside the box. Maybe we have to look at, can we learn something from an online event that we can integrate in a physical event? But normally we don't think about it because we immediately go to the box of the physical events. Now, is that a bad thing? No, I would say 95% of the time, trust your logical thinking. Trust the ladders. Trust the procedures that you're following. You know, because there's a reason why you're following. Normally, it's a logical way. But in some cases, and I think you will agree with me, in the last year and a half has been really a huge change for everybody, and certainly the event world. You know, amazing what kind of challenges that we had. And I think that most of you, we made a switch. You know, we made a switch to online. At this moment, we're going to hybrid, but those challenges are quite big. And at those moments, we need to think outside the box. We need to do things in a different way because we couldn't have face-to-face meetings. So we had to do things in a different way. Now, we're living in times, and you agree with me, a lot of changes happening, Bitcoins, 3D printers, drones, self-driving cars, and also in China, you know, a lot of you are from China, a lot of innovation is coming from your part of the world. Also in the event world, a lot of things are changing. We have a lot of new technologies, and at the same time, you know, the logical way is not working anymore. You know, we can't do what we've done in the past. And this combination, you know, of having a lot of change happening in the world, combined with logical pathways that are blocked, at those moments we need to be creative. Maybe again, a quick exercise, which is also quite nice to create more interaction. For this one, we need the gallery view. So if you can go to the gallery view, and we need our video. So if you can put on your video for 10 seconds, that's already nice. And otherwise, we do it with the people who are here. What I'm going to ask you is put your arm in front of the camera like this, you know, and could be your right arm, could be your left arm. Yeah, for the people who are participating, very good. And what I'm going to ask you, your arm at this moment works like a lever. So this is 0, this is 5, this is 10. Yeah, so you can work with your arm on a scale. What I'm going to ask you, how much change has happened, you know, in the last year and a half for you. Are you saying I'm still doing the same thing as before? Then you hear. If you're saying, well, quite a lot of different things have changed in my job. If you're saying my job is completely different, you are a 10. Can you show me where are you if you look at your professional life, how much change has happened? All right, perfect. Thank you. You can lower your arm again. You can go back to the speaker view if you want. But this is also for me, I made a little screenshot because it's always nice to see people moving with the arms. But it's also a nice way to do a little questionnaire. You know, instead of going to the poll that's already in Zoom or Teams or on your platform, this is a more physical way. You know, it helps to invite people to work with the camera. They're doing something. So I like to use these kind of tools. So what I saw is that most of you were at the level 6, 7, 8. So a lot of change has also happened in your world. Now, one of my mantras, or almost a mantra that I use quite a lot of times, is this one. Don't mind the change, change your mind. And what do I mean by that? A lot of times when change is happening, we focus all our time and energy on the change itself, you know, the thing that's changing. But what we sometimes forget is that we can also change our mind, our mindset. So if we can learn to adapt a little bit faster or easier, then it doesn't really matter what kind of change is happening, because you're used to change and you can go with the flow. But what I've seen is that certainly in large organizations, 99% of all time, energy, and money is going to the change itself. And we forget that we have to engage our people, that we have to help them to make change a little bit easier. So that's what I want to do with you in the time that we still have allocated. Now, what I've done, I've written a book. To be really honest, it's not a book. I call it a bookazine. It's a book with the layout of a magazine. Yeah, so every page is different. I thought that a lot of books are a little bit boring. They only have words. So I thought I need to have a different book. But you don't have to buy the book. You know, you don't have to buy the book, because I'm going to give you the summary. And the summary of the book is quite simple. You know, like Angela told you in the beginning, they even call me sometimes a simplifier, because they love simple solutions. But a simple solution, a lot of times you can already solve 80% of the problem, you know, so that's nice. This would be the summary. 3 words: yes and act. And I'm absolutely sure if you apply these 3 words in your daily lives and in your professional life, change will be a little bit easier. And let me explain you the meaning behind those words. I start with the yes. The yes stands for suspend your judgment. You know, we human beings, we have a tendency to judge very quickly. You know, we hear something and immediately we have an opinion about that certain topic. It's a little bit, I don't know if you've seen this with your colleagues or maybe also with your clients. You are sitting in a meeting, somebody comes up with an idea, and this is happening. You know, This is the ID. And what happens is that your colleagues or your client is immediately trying to kill the idea. You know, I hope that they don't use physical tools, but I think they will use all kind of words. Words like, yes, but we don't have any money. Yes, but we've already tried it before. Yes, but it doesn't work with our audience. Yes, but do you recognize these? And I created a coaster, you know, with one side, the red side, all kind of what I call idea killers. Yes, but we don't have time, we don't have money, we've already tried it. But also a green side. And the green side are the idea boosters. Hey, let's test it. Yes, and let's give it a try, talk about it. So what I would like to ask you, what are some, and can you type it in the chat, what are some of the typical idea killers that you hear almost every day? You know, you're sitting in a meeting, somebody gives an idea. What are some typical idea killers that you hear from clients, from colleagues, from your boss? Can you type a few examples in the chat? What are some typical, we don't have budget. Yeah, it will be too expensive. We've already tried it. Yeah, a nice one. Yes, we tried it 5 years ago. Maybe we have to try it again. Yeah. Other ones. What are some typical things that you hear? Somebody comes with an idea. What are people saying? We don't like it. Yeah, nice one. We don't like this idea. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it doesn't work for our industry. Our industry is very special. Yeah, every industry is special. Yeah, everybody thinks that they are unique, but we don't have enough time. Yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah, so a lot of things, a lot of ID killers that are happening. Now, a very nice exercise. Yeah, can you give us more creative ideas? Yeah, but I already gave one. No, more. Yeah, a very nice exercise. What you can do is for 1 minute. For 1 minute, what you do. We're not going to do it for time being, but it is a nice exercise that you can do with a colleague. One person, yeah, comes up with an idea for a party. We want to organize a party, and one person is saying, maybe we have a party in Belgium. You know, here I'm living in Antwerp. Everybody come to Antwerp. But then the other person has to answer with, yes, where's my little card? Yes, but I'm living in China at this moment. I can't travel, so it will be very hard. So you come up with an ID killer, but then you come with a new ID. And you say, hey, but maybe we can have the party online. And then I'm saying, yes, but I already had a lot of online parties. It's a little bit boring. So I come with an excuse and I give a new ID. You do this for 1 minute. What you will notice is energy will go down. Not a lot of things will happen. Then after that minute, you go to the yes and. So then you could say one person starts, maybe the other person will start, another party, but we go on a holiday. So then somebody is saying, let's go on a holiday to China and eat Chinese food. And then the other person has to answer with yes. And when we are in China, we are going to create, you know, we are going to have a physical meeting with everybody who's associated with INCON. Yes, and we will have a party with some famous people. Yes, and we will organize the biggest event ever. Yes, and then we go to Australia. You know, you've all the time, you've all the money, you can do whatever you want, but you have to answer in yes and. What you will notice is that the energy will really go up. You know, a lot more ideas will pop up, and everybody will be motivated because you contributed to it. You know, you gave some ideas, people build on it, and you are in a totally different atmosphere. The only thing that you've done, you changed one word. You went from a yes but to a yes and. totally different energy. It sounds like such a simple exercise, but I think that's the strength. It's so simple that it works. One level deeper, and I invite you, give it a try. The next time when you're sitting together with a client, you are organizing an event or you're having a meeting, and you want that your client is open, like Tony, what you're saying, I want to change the mindset of the client. What you can do is, I call this the 3-minute rule. What's the 3-minute rule? 3-minute rule works as follows. You explain what, no, you know what I'm going to do? This is even easier. I'm going to put something in the chat. Oops. Just if you look in the chat, I shared a website, and there you can download a PDF with all the ID killers. You can just go there. You don't have to leave an email address or something. You can download it. What I would recommend you print that document, maybe you bring it to the meeting and you say, I would like to do a short experiment. Maybe you have a meeting with, let's say 10 agenda points. I would say 9 of them logical thinking. I'm not the yes and guy, I'm the common sense guy. But common sense also means if you need some new ideas, if the logical way is not working, we need creativity. So for that one agenda point where you need some creativity, you explain, we're going to do the 3-minute rule. For 3 minutes, we're going to suspend our judgment, and nobody can give an ID killer. So for example, Lisa, we're in the brainstorming, and Lisa is saying, yes, but we've already tried it. At that moment, like in soccer, European soccer, Lisa gets a red card, because she killed one of the ideas. What's the punishment? She has to come up with 2 new ideas. Yeah. So if you kill one ID, you get a red card, and you have to come up with 2 new ideas. So maybe Lisa was saying, yeah, but we don't have budget. Okay, she gets a red card. Maybe we can make the event very small, that we don't need a lot of budget, or we can look for sponsorship. So she comes up with new ideas. You do this for 3 minutes, and after the 3 minutes, you look at all the ideas that you gathered, and you pick the ones that are relevant. You pick the ones that are interesting, that you can really do, and that everybody is motivated by. So give it a try. The next time when you have a meeting, try it for 3 minutes and see what happens. I'm quite sure that you will come up with a lot of new ideas that we haven't thought about. All right, that's the yes. What's the and? The and stands for look at the world from a different perspective. A lot of times we think in the same way. We are experts in something, and we look at the world from the same perspective. It's a little bit like this, this cartoon. There is a logical path, and most of the time we think that this is the only road. But what I've learned, I'm now working in the domain of creativity and innovation for the last 20 years. The biggest lesson that I've learned is there is always an alternative. There is always a different way, to reach the top. Maybe with a cannon or with an airplane, or you start climbing to the top. And this is also with ideas. You can always find an extra idea to, if the logical way is not working, what else can we do? And I think all of you, you've seen it in the last year and a half, with the whole pandemic, we had to work in different ways. The logical way was not working anymore. And, we had to be creative and look for alternatives. Now, I'm going to show you a little artwork. And if you look at the artwork from this perspective, wait, I can hold it here, this might be a little bit easier. You can read the word no. Yeah. But what happens if you would switch your perspective? So if you would look from a different angle to it, and I'm going to help you a little bit. If you would change the perspective to this part, the no would become a yes. did the artwork change? No, the artwork is exactly the same, but it depends on how are you looking to the situation. Are you looking from this side and saying, no, it's a problem, it's difficult problem, or are you saying, hey, wait a minute, it could be an opportunity. What can we learn from it? And again, it looks so simple, and I also believe that it's quite simple, that most situations that we're in, if you look from a different angle, suddenly there are opportunities and you can do things in a different way. Now, what I would like to do is a little experiment. I would like to do a short brainstorming session. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the screen for a moment. Oops, let me do it like this. In a minute, what we're going to do, I'm going to create some breakout rooms. We create groups of, I think, 6, 7 people. Yeah. And this will be the question. I will share with you the document. You will get access to the document. You can type in IDs. So the question that we have is, at a lot of events, we want to stimulate the networking. So what I'm going to ask you is, this is the brainstorming question. How can we stimulate the networking between participants during one of our events, or during our events, while our events are busy, what can we do? It could be online, it could be in person. You can choose what you want. And what I'm going to do, we're going to create some breakout rooms, and I'm going to ask you to type in your answers in here. You will see that you can type in it. So you are in a group of 5, 6 people, and you can see the number of the breakout group you're in. You can type in the answers here. Now, one extra level, I'm going to give you an extra tip, because looking from different sides, how can you stimulate it? And they have a method for you, and the method is called WWXD, which stands for what would X do? And what's X? X is one of these brands, and it could be another brand. You don't have to limit yourself to these brands, but you could ask yourself, okay, we want to stimulate the networking of participants. How can we do it? And you think, hey, we are McDonald's. Okay, what would McDonald's do to stimulate networking? In McDonald's at this moment, if you want to order your menu, maybe we can put also a big screen there with all the names of the participants. They can see, who is there? That could be one idea. Then what you do is you just type here, maybe McDonald's, you're inspired by McDonald's, big screen with names participants, and maybe plus a picture, that who that person is. That's one ID. And then you pick a different one. Hey, we're not McDonald's, we are Harley Davidson, or you pick one of those brands. So just let's give it a try. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you the link to the document. I'll do that first. Then you can see if you can get access to it. So in the chat at this moment, you can click on that link. And even if you can't access it, that's not a problem, because probably if there is one person in your group who can access the document, then that person can type into it. And the challenge is try to come up with a few ideas. We only do this for 5 minutes. We do it very short. I just want to show you how you can do an online brainstorming session, but just give it a try. Try to come up with a few ideas and use the brands to stimulate your creativity. So this is the link. Let me see. I see already that a few people got into the document. Not that many yet. I'm not sure if everybody can. You get access, or people who have some trouble with it? Okay, some people can't connect it. Okay, but then I hope that one person of your group can get into it, and otherwise you can just share some of the ideas. The method. You just pick a brand and you want to stimulate the networking. All right, I'm going to make groups of, let's say, 5, 6 people, and we just do it for a few minutes. Yeah, give it a try, see if it works. And if one person We need VPN in China. C, if you can't access the document, just share it in your small group, come up with some of the ID, just give it a try. We do it for 4 or 5 minutes, and then I call everybody back. Let's give it a try. Here we go. Oops, open all rooms. Okay. Slowly, I hope that people are coming back. Yes, everybody is back. Okay, this is already a very nice challenge for me because I didn't keep in mind that indeed in China or other countries, it was difficult to access a Google document. That's a nice lesson for me. So I have to be creative the next time, but I just wanted to show you that even in this way, you can create a short brainstorming session. So I've done it with a large group. That was people all from, I think they were from the Netherlands. So for them, it was a little bit easier to access the document. And with 200 people, we were working in the same document. So we created a lot of different breakout groups, and it went really well, because then you see the document is growing, you know, while you're busy. So you have to look. I'm quite sure there are other alternatives where you can apply it, but I just wanted to give you a method. So also the WWXD, how it works to get extra inspiration if you look from a different angle. Now, this was way too short. Normally, I would give you 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you know, to get into it. I would give you some examples, but I just wanted to share, you know, what is possible. So that's for me the end. So sometimes in life, it's good to put on a different hat or put on some different glasses to solve a certain problem. What's the last part? The last part is the act. And again, you can put me on speaker view if you want to see me a little bit bigger. What's the speaker? And now I can think maybe I can spotlight myself. So we remove spotlight. No, I think I am spotlighted. No, I'm going to give the hosting back to you, Angela, then because I don't need to make breakout rooms anymore. So what's the last part? The last part is the act. You have to get into action. You know, a lot of times we can talk a lot about ideas, but we have to do something with it. And in Europe, but I think it's in Asia, it's a little bit the same. It's probably the same in the whole professional world. When somebody comes up with an idea, what I've seen a lot of times is that we organize a meeting to talk about the idea. And then we organize, we create a business plan. And then we make a schedule. And we have another meeting and another meeting. And we create a committee that's going to talk about the meetings of the meetings. And we are 3 months further. And we haven't done anything yet. We only talked about the idea. And a lot of times then the energy is gone. You know, nobody is motivated anymore to really go for it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you already part of a cartoon. You know, it's not the full page yet, but most of us were very good at this, you know, creating the perfect plan. Sometimes we spend a month, 2 months working on the perfect plan, and we take 27 steps and then we've reached our goal. But then reality kicks in, you know, and reality looks a little bit different than our plan, you know, because you made the perfect plan. By the way, this is a true story. It was a financial organization here in Belgium, and they were working with a team of 8 people. They worked on the strategy and the sales plan of the next year. Yeah, with 8 people. They started in August, September. So for 4 months, they've been working on the perfect plan. And then what happened? You know, this was end of January. There was a competitor who came up with a similar product. So they had to change their plan. This was mid-March. Pandemic, COVID. They had to change the whole plan. This was mid-May. The government came with a new legislation. They had to change the whole plan. This was, you know, what I want to show you, plans are changing. Reality is always different than what you have in mind. So why do I show this to you? Do I want to say that we don't need plans anymore? No, we need plans, but maybe we need some milestones. We need to have a rough plan. And maybe we have to take some small steps to see if something works or not. And I'm going to give you a tool. And this tool is called a nano action. And what's a nano action? You have a limited time and you have a limited amount of money. Yeah, here I have it in euro, but of course it could also be in yen or the currency that you're in. So small amount of money, small amount of time. Why those two? Because those two are the 2 biggest idea killers. we don't have time, we don't have money. In every organization, they're saying it. But I'm quite sure everybody can find 10 euros or equivalent, and everybody can find 1 hour of time. But I would recommend you the next time when you're having a big idea, instead of sitting behind your desk, working for a month on creating the perfect plan, I would advise you take a nano action. Take a step. Maybe you have to pick up the phone and you call a client, you call a colleague, you call a partner from INCON, and you say, hey, we have an event and I'm not sure what we want to do. Do you have some experience with it? What you do is you take a small step, and sometimes it works. If it works, your colleague is saying, but it's very interesting. We already organized a hybrid event and we did this and this and this, and you already learned a lot. And then you take the next step. Okay, I'm going to propose it to my team because maybe also they like the idea. What happens? Your team, they also are quite excited. And then you go to the client, but the client is saying, I'm not sure if we really want to do it. And then you can say it didn't work, but you already took a lot of steps. You've already learned more than the person who's still behind the desk, who's still trying to figure out would it work. You already checked with colleagues. You already checked with a client. And in life, sometimes it works, then it's a success, but sometimes it doesn't work. And the last thing that I want to share with you, and I'm also curious what would be the Chinese version of it, because I'm going to give you a new word, yeah? And the word that I'm going to learn to you is a nearling. A nearling, and maybe you think, a nearling? I've never heard of the word nearling. That's possible, because it's a made-up word. It doesn't exist yet. What's a nearling? A nearling is something that you've done with the right intention, which has not yet led to the right result. Yeah, it's a little bit like a child that's learning to drive a bike. It will fall a few times. That's part of the learning process. But I've never seen a parent saying to the child, if the child is failing, you are a failure. No, you just help the child. The child maybe cries a little bit, but it will cycle again. It will try again. And I think we professionals, we would allow nearlings. A nearling is between a 0 and 1. If a 0, that's a failure. A 1 is success. What's a nearling? 0.1, 0.3, 0.9. And you should be proud of it because you tried something, you've learned something, maybe it led to something else. So, we need several nearlings for a few successes. So also be proud. If something doesn't work the first time, it's take nano steps. It's not a problem if you have nearlings on a nano level. And then if you combine those three, we have the yes and act. Very simple tool, but I hope that I inspired you a little bit, that I gave you some tools and tips how you can stimulate your own mindset, on change mindset. And I hope that you can also do it with some clients, because sometimes, we have one idea. It's one, but if we suspend our judgment, maybe we can have 3 ideas. It's already a lot more. But then if we have said yes, suspending judgment, we go to the and. Maybe we can learn, if we apply different glasses, that we can have different colors, that we can have different shapes. And then we have to take action. And once we take action, we probably will have some nearlings, but hopefully also a lot of successes. And all the ideas, can hopefully flourish a little bit. This was the story that I wanted to share with you. Maybe a last thing that I want to do. What is one of the nano actions that you are going to take after the session? So is there something that you said, the yes and, or maybe the looking from a different angle, maybe the WWXD, nano action, nearling. What's a nano action or an insight that triggered you? Can you share that in the chat? So what's one thing that you're going to experiment with? It could also be a very practical thing that you say, I'm going to use my background in a different way, or I'm going to use the arm. What's one of the actions? Serena's going to do the yes and, yeah, and give it a try with your clients. Very good. And try it out, see what's yes and action. Yes, very good. People are going to use some of the tips. What I'm very happy to do, because the timing, the hour is already almost full, I'm very happy to share my slides. So if you want to go through my slides again and have some extra inspiration, I will share it with you. And I have another special present for you. You know what I agreed? I showed you the book. What I'm going to do, if you connect with me, I think most of you are on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, you can also send me an email. But if you are on LinkedIn, what I'm going to ask you is, this is my profile. If you go there, just mention INCON event, you know, that you were at this event. What I will do is a little present. I will send you the ebook, so then you can get the whole book, and I will send you the slides with some extra inspiration. So I really hope that we can connect on that platform and that you can get some extra inspiration from the book. And what I hope is that we can see each other again. I would love to collaborate with you on some events for clients. I would love to come to China. I've never been to China yet. So hopefully I would love to come and eat some Chinese food in Shanghai or somewhere else. So hopefully our paths will cross again. Thanks a lot for your attention.